Okay, so I get a lot of questions on LinkedIn, email, all the time from people trying to break into marketing, especially in the gaming slash esports side of things, of like, how can you do it? Like, what can I do to do it? And I thought that because I get asked this so frequently, I'm going to make a video. So then if you're watching this because you asked me, well, here are 3 tips and I'll kind of break it down for you. So first, experience that if you want to do this, if this is something you're passionate, this is something you love, get started early. Get experience. I cannot stress this enough that your time is very important. The more time and experience you have in an industry and doing stuff, it's super valuable, right? Because there's nothing more frustrating than as an individual that's hiring is getting a resume and saying the person in the cover letter or in their intro email saying, hey, I have no experience. All I've done is just gone to college. That to me is just like, as a hiring manager, don't want to have to teach you these fundamentals. I expect you to have some kind of level of education. Now, that's a whole nother subject, how I believe the college system right now in America is kind of flawed, but that is what it is. But just to put it blankly, get experience, whether it's doing some freelance gig work at a smaller organization, work with an individual creator, get that experience like tweeting, posting content, editing content, coming up with strategy, coming up with content plans, all that stuff. Like, get involved, get started, and do not wait, because it's gonna be the difference maker between someone that will get a job entering and will not is how much experience they have. I will gladly take someone that has experience working with creators that have like 300 followers to 1,000 followers, right? And they get how to post on social media, they get how to get engagement and stuff like that, rather than someone fresh out of college that came from Harvard. Personally, that's just how I work, and I think that it's really important that you get this experience, because the hands-on experience is what's going to make your whole life easier and be way more interesting, because you can siphon it whenever you're talking with like a interviewer. You can say, hey, there was an X problem, I did Y as the solution, and I got Z as the result. And that is so powerful, because you can clearly show examples. And in the past, whenever you have a specific problem, you can be like, well, I've done this in the past, this is what I can do now, or I've experienced in this. You're more confident, all that stuff. When you have experience, you're just so much more confident with everything that you do on a whole level, and you just are less likely to make mistakes. It's just like riding a bike. Don't be afraid to also get experience in like more mature industries outside of like esports and gaming. Esports and gaming is very competitive. It's very cutthroat in the sense of like what separates good from the great. And oftentimes I advise people is go get experience at, like, for example, a marketing job at a real estate company or a social media agency, right? It might not be the most glamorous, it might not be the most sexy, but everyone has to start and go get that experience. It's super valuable if you can say like, well, I've worked with these small brands that have some kind of recognition. Here's a portfolio of all my work that I've done. That's super important. And build a good portfolio. I cannot express this enough, how many times people go into like interviews, meetings and stuff like that. They go into interviews with like zero, like, here's my track record. I have to go off of what you say. And oftentimes it's easier to show and then tell rather than just tell and explain. And it helps me build a bigger picture, better understanding of who I'm hiring and what they can deliver. Also, don't be afraid to fail and make mistakes, and network. You don't need to be in esports slash gaming to network. Network in your traditional, space. Talk to people on Twitter, engage, all that stuff. Get your name out there, talk to people, engage with people. That's like the best recommendation I can do. And you never know who's going to end up where within the next few years. That's kind of like don't try to burn bridges, try to be very approachable, try to be open. And that's just the nature of the game of the business world. You have to be forward. You have to go above what the rest of the pack is going to be doing. And finally, for getting started early, on top of that, is have someone review your resume. A great starting point. And one of the things that whenever I'm hiring is I will look at someone's resume, and within probably 20 seconds, I can determine whether I want to interview this person or toss it out and move on to the next candidate. Because especially at ATK, we get flooded with people that want to like work for us. It's crazy. I don't want to spend 3 hours looking over every single candidate. So I'm going to look at your resume, and if it's well put together, then I'm going to read into it and dig into it more. But if it's sloppy, has mistakes, it's like all over the place, it's not really making any sense, it's going to get tossed, and I'm going to move on to the next candidate. And this goes probably for many hiring managers. Here's a great starting point. Go watch Devin Nash's video with career expert Ethan Evans. He is the former VP of Amazon, and The video is 2 hours long, but it is one of the best 2 hours of educational content that you can watch as a young professional. And to understand what makes a good resume, they break things down so efficiently. I should probably make a whole video about resume building and stuff like that, but that's another great tool. So yeah, get started early and have a good resume. On top of network, I think that's like the best way to break down this experience category. Like, the experience matters if you want to have like a very successful career in esports and gaming. Number 2, learn a new skill. Learning to learn is one of the hardest things that people struggle when in a new job or once they've landed a career. Like, especially in marketing, I always tell people that one of the hardest parts about marketing is that marketing and branding and the whole field continuously changes and evolves. What worked 3 years ago does not work today, right? TikTok didn't exist, Instagram Reels wasn't a thing. Now vertical content, short form, bite-sized content, that's like the thing. You need to be able to navigate that field, and the industry changes every 6 months, standards, algorithms, all that stuff. Learn to adapt, and learn to take risks, but calculated, right? And learn to learn is in keep growing, right? A lot of people get very like confident. They're like, oh, well, I'm here, or I got the gig and stuff like that. Keep learning, find new ways that you can get engaged, find new resources. It should excite you. And especially great marketers, we never stop learning. We never stop thinking on what we're going to be doing next, or what direction the industry might be going in. Good marketers, they kind of just sit around and kind of react. If you want to be great, you got to be proactive. You got to try to push the limits, see what other people are doing, the reasons why, stuff like that. Another key part of learning new skills is learn something adjacent to marketing. A lot of people focus, they're like very good at marketing. They get strategy, they get social media to a certain degree, right? They can drive a concept, a campaign forward. But what makes a great marketer is being able to design, being able to video edit, being able to look at apparel direction, stuff like that, and branding, right? It's incredibly crucial that you learn the skills, and it really will separate you from the rest, especially if you're trying to get in a very competitive field such as gaming and esports. Those skills will massively shoot you up in trajectory. If I know that a marketer or a marketing manager has the video editing skills or the video editing knowledge, let alone just has a portfolio of even pretty average content, I know that they understand video editing and content and can direct that with a video editor. That is to me so much more valuable than someone that's really good at marketing, because this person knows 2 skills and I don't have to worry about teaching that individual those skills, and I can just help them refine and improve that. Same thing goes for design. I think design and marketing go hand in hand. These are things that you should know, the basic principles. Learn Photoshop. There's tons of free guides out there. I highly recommend, if you're into esports / gaming design, check out George's channel. He has tons of great content going from like logos, brand views. He talks a lot. He's very articulate about it. Works at 100 Thieves. Great guy. Highly recommend you check out his channel. Great stuff. And marketing, like I said, is so expansive and changes so quickly. It's part of your job to learn. And I will echo that a second time because it's very important. Take some time out of your day to look at what people are doing. Sometimes you kind of don't realize that you're doing it naturally by just looking at Twitter, of like Instagram, but don't let that always approach it of like why, right? And if once you start seeing the why and the reason, the bigger picture of like why someone posted this picture on their grid or this on their story, sometimes go to their page and expand and be like, okay, this is why they posted it, because of the content strategy. Did they pivot, right? All this stuff. Now, I'm going to recommend you guys some content for you guys to look at other than me, because there's tons of free content on YouTube, and one of the best ways to learn about marketing is in the gaming and esports space, is by watching content and digesting content and having these resources. Most people don't know where to go or where to start. So my recommendations, if you're looking for marketing strategy, creator economy stuff, Devin Nash is your go-to service for just the general stuff. He's the ex-CEO of CLG. Then there's Atria, who is a speedrunner / marketer. He often does a lot of marketing, this content series called Marketing Monday on his channel. He has got a lot of great work. He handles global marketing at NVIDIA. So I got some stuff. He's got a very interesting take on a lot of things.
Women belong in the kitchen.
And very insightful. For branding and design, obviously I recommended George, but also from on the more professional side of things, if you're looking to enter, Chris Dew does a lot of design, branding, and marketing on his channel. Highly recommend The Future. It's a great channel, tons of content. They have a lot of courses, stuff like that. I have personally purchased a bunch of courses from The Future. This is not sponsored or plugged, but I highly recommend you taking a look at it. They provide some incredible resources and content, and I can't believe that this isn't taught in a university. It's not given to you at a university, but if you pay like a little bit of money, you get some really great resources. It's not for everyone, but if you have the money, it can be a very, very good investment in the long run. That is just from my personal experience. And then Marty Numer is a fantastic brand strategist and marketer, and his perception on branding is very good. Also, shout out to my friends at Metal Umbrella for creating a incredibly awesome lookbook. By the way, they're pushing the barriers. metalumbrella.com. Use code Haiduk for 0% off, but just tell them that I love you. Anyways, he is the author of a bunch of these books, and they are fantastic. They're like 12, 15 bucks on Amazon, and these are just a great refresher. They're a quick read. I love how he's honest. I love the examples he gives. His website's fantastic. Go check it out. Marty Numer, great resource for marketers, branders, designers, anything like that. And like, just dive in. It's great. And these books are well worth the money. I have easily, in terms of knowledge gained, have made my money back on this tenfold, honestly. And I've shared this book with many people. They loved it. They get it. And it's a light read. It's a fast read. And it's a good refresher whenever you're kind of like in a slump or you kind of forget something. You're like, oh wait, let me take a look. Like, you can use it as a reference. And then even I have it where I've like marked specific things that I want to remember that I can easily access. It's weird because at universities you're taught to like kind of like reading's a pain and a chore, but when you get excited by it, it's a whole nother level. And then finally, for job, work, life, marketing / social, one of the people that I've been following most recently is Jack Appleby. He is now at The Morning Brew, but he makes fantastic TikTok content. Highly recommend you go check it out. He talks about like social media strategy, marketing strategy on his Twitter. And then finally, one of the best tips that I always tell people that I'm looking to hire or hiring or just anyone in the space, college students, you name it, people trying to break into the space, is ask questions. Reach out to people that have your dream job, right? Look at their LinkedIn. Like, so many people are good at documenting their LinkedIn history of like where they worked, what they did. Like, find that person that has your dream job, right? And see where did they start, when did they start, and what did they do to get up to it. You'd be surprised where people have started as like a product manager, intern, all this stuff at all these different locations and have slowly made their way up through the industry to get where they are. And that's like a good starting place of like, hey, look, this is where this person came. Make your own insights. And if you reach out to a bunch of people, they don't respond or stuff like that, go look at panels, speaking gigs. There's tons of free ones on YouTube, different events, South by Southwest, PAX East, all that stuff. You can find limitless panels, podcasts, and stuff like that. Look for the content. You will find it. The internet is so vast and there's so many people that talk about it. Sometimes like an obscure 60 view video can be very informational. For example, I used to dive in a ton on Brian Collins's branding philosophy, his marketing / positioning philosophy. Lots of great content. This is the guy and his team had originally made one of the larger brand shifts for Spotify, and Marty Numer as well. Lots of good audio stuff. Like, if you can't ask them directly, look for the content that they hopefully have uploaded, or if someone has uploaded any like correlating stuff. And then finally, for all my friends that ask me all this time, career advice, Thomas, can you give me some career advice that is like very vague? Please use Hitmarker / career advice. It is so good for people that are in high school, in early college, trying to figure stuff out. This is such a good TLDR of everything that I've summarized kind of in this video and more. Please use it. It's so good, and use Hitmarker as a resource. It's the people over there get it. They have a fantastic system. This is not sponsored. I just believe in Hitmarker. I use Hitmarker to hire. I've been hired through Hitmarker to a certain degree. and stuff like that. So those are the 3 big areas. Now here's some quick fire like response questions that people have emailed me about that I'm just going to kind of like spit out quickly. Are there any certification courses / training that you would recommend that is used by the industry? No, there's everyone learns in their own way. There's no recommended course that I can be like, yeah, go point and do it. The best I recommend is you go to like either look for stuff on like Skillshare, Masterclass, LinkedIn, whatever free accessible courses that you're able to take. If you want to just like stay on top or keep learning more things, just go do it. Investing a little bit of money can be very useful and honestly probably even better than like university courses from my experience overall. Any advice on how to get a job in the industry after college? Do not wait for a job to come to you. That's the biggest mistake that I see people do all the time. They beg, they try to get all these jobs. Do not wait, get experience, get in early, and then have a strong resume. It's the biggest thing. If you're coming right out of college, you better have experience, strong resume, great cover letter, like show the case that you're hungry and you put the work in. You can easily tell the difference between someone that spent 20 minutes building a resume and 40 hours building a resume / portfolio. Is there anything you would look in a candidate that you want to hire? I always look at experience, confidence, and no ego on social media. It is super easy to find people and like see the absolute hypocrisy of people. Like it is so easy to do like a review of someone's social media on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. It is easier to find than anyone else. I can see a person's personality in an interview versus on social media very clear. There have been people that I've been like, yeah, I want to hire this person, and then I look on their social and they're a complete different person. I'm like, absolutely not. I do not want, like, we've spoken twice and this is the perception, you know, but your social media will say another story. And if you have any advice for young professionals looking into the industry soon, bullet fire a bunch of things that I talked about. Ask questions, learn a new skill, learn adjacent to marketing skills, and then marketing is expansive and changes so quickly that it's part of your job to learn throughout the day, week to week, month to month on where marketing is going, where the industry your industry is going. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. I'll try to answer all your questions, all that stuff. Follow me on Twitter and all that good stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to do the plug thing.